In Outlander's Season 7 mid-season finale, we saw Jamie have a very close call with his son William, while Claire met a memorable historical figure. Meanwhile, young Ian and Rachel grow closer, and Roger goes through the stones to find Jemmy. Ian, welcome to the Outlander Insider mid-season finale chat.
I actually cannot believe we've already had the mid-season finale. Do you not feel like this season has just flown by?
It's flown by. It's only been 8 episodes, though. I mean, obviously, all in all, it's going to be a long series, but we're not getting the second half until 2024, so...
I think I keep forgetting that we have the second half coming. I think I've just kind of thought, oh no, next we've got season 8. I think I've just mentally forgotten about that. So I'm glad we still have the other half of the season.
More episodes to go. What did you think?
Oh, it was amazing for me because as you know, I have been dying for them to get to Scotland. And it was we ended on the boat. That was amazing. But yeah, it was a great mid-season finale. I think fans might still be a little bit frustrated that William and Jamie haven't actually kind of had their moment yet.
No.
We had a few words between them.
Yeah,
we had a moment, but not the moment. So I think some fans might be left being a little bit disappointed at that, but I just think it's all going to build up surely in the next half, even though I'm not sure how William will go to Scotland, if Jamie will come back to the States. We're not really sure yet.
Yeah, really anything could happen. They're all so far stretched across the worlds now. It's how are they going to come back together? They're obviously going to have to. I can't wait to see how it's going to play out. And I actually spoke earlier this week to Outlander's executive producer, Maril Davis, who gave a lot of insight into some really interesting things about how they make the show. So let's see what she had to say. How does it feel that the characters are going back to Scotland first and foremost? Does it feel like a bit of a homecoming?
Totally. It's such a full circle moment, certainly for Jamie and Ian. I mean, even for Claire, even though, that's not necessarily where she's from, Scotland. It's where our story started. So it's a full circle moment. And it's been about 9 or 10 years since Jamie and Ian have been home, which is great. I mean, the fact that we've been shooting the show for that long kind of tells you it's kind of a weird kind of parallel moment for all of us. And it was really fun filming that moment. And actually, weirdly, I was just thinking about this, we filmed the moment Jamie and Claire and Ian pop up on the deck of the boat to see Scotland for the first time way back in season 1 because we're using the ship and we had it and we were using it to film something else. So actually we filmed that final moment in the first block. So
wow.
I need to think about that was one of the first things we shot. So which is crazy, but it's so heartwarming and it's a lovely way to end their story for the first half and kind of prepare people to come back for the second half.
Absolutely. And I didn't, like you were saying, you've been working on this show for the best part of a decade at this point. I mean, what's your biggest takeaway from this experience? And also, I'm just curious who your favorite characters are as well.
Well, I mean, it's hard to pick a favorite character since that's like picking a favorite child. Listen, I mean, Jamie and Claire, it's hard not to have them as kind of your, I know they're the heartbeat of the show. And certainly, I think of them, I always say they're kind of like the center of the wheel and all the stories spoke off of them, even though, if they're not the center of the story of that week, it's like everything always kind of leads back to them. But it's been an amazing ride. I mean, I have so many mixed feelings going into that last season. It's so bittersweet. It's, obviously we knew it had to end at some point. In season 1, we did not imagine we'd be lucky enough to go 8 seasons, but I'm very sad about it, but also very excited to film that last chapter and go on to new things. And obviously we've got the prequel, but it's really, it's very sad. It's been such a wonderful ride. This show is my heart. I've been on it since day 1 and I just love it. I love the people. I love the story. I just love everything about it. It's been such a wonderful experience.
I mean, yeah, I've been a fan since season 1 myself. So it's just it's amazing to see how long it's gone and how it really keeps the fan base engaged as well. I mean, it's got such a passionate fan base, both the novels and the TV show. And actually, my colleague and I do weekly chats where we discuss each episode. And it's always funny because always the YouTube comments are very passionate book readers telling us what exactly has changed, that sort of thing. I mean, how do you decide that? Like, how do you decide how the novels are adapted and what gets kept in and what gets tweaked?
Yeah, every year every season it's the same thing. The writers sit down, they put all the tentpole moments on the board. We kind of decide, okay, what has to stay, what can't fit, because obviously normally we're 12 episodes, this season we're 16, but we also are this season, because we didn't know going into this season if this would be our last and thought it could be our last. We kind of prepared to squeeze in all the material we had at that point. Right. Book 9 wasn't out yet, so we were finishing up book 6, and we said, let's take book 7 and 8 and just kind of, if this is it, let's go out with a bang. And I'm so impressed with the writers that they managed to grab all the best moments of these 2 books and make a cohesive story. That's always the problem with Diana's books. They're so not complicated, but one thing, she's an incredible writer. So one storyline weaves into the next, and it's hard to sometimes pull threads, and everything kind of falls apart. So, I think they did a great job this season of incorporating so much material and making it so fast-paced and comprehensible, and it's just a wild ride. So, once again, we go in and figure out what we can include and what has to go, and it's always hard. I mean, it's always, unfortunately, the quiet moments or, the like lovely little scenes you love, but you can't necessarily include because, the episodes are only so long and we can only include so much stuff. So maybe rips are this big. But the TV show has a quarter of the time to do that material. So it's tough.
It's just 2 different types of storytelling, isn't it? It's you can't get all of the intricacies in there, but yeah, it's a shame. I mean, so someone pointed out that it's like in the book, in this episode, Jamie was supposed to lose a finger. I guess, was that a bit of a CGI nightmare?
We just decided, certainly certain things like that. And, obviously, we certainly had Jamie's hand from season 1 and carry that on in the scars. But there are certain things that are really kind of tough to do as we move forward. And losing a finger was something, yes, visual effects wise, that it's time, money, for the actor, also Sam, that for him to have to kind of wear then a sleeve maybe with, it's not something we felt we wanted to burden him with.
I mean, I love that there's always, when I'm watching each season, I mean, for example, last season, it was like very much murder mystery, like who killed Marlborough. This season, for me, the intrigue is very much when Jamie is going to meet William. Yeah. And like, that's the big thing for me. I mean, do you guys know how much you're teasing that, he's meeting everybody else?
Yeah, but it's kind of like, certainly in the previous seasons, it's like war is on the horizon. And that's been the thing, the ticking time clock. And the ticking time clock for this season is certainly one of them is, when is Jamie going to see his son? And his fears about meeting him across enemy lines and not wanting to face him like that. And, what happens if, we are face to face. I think that's such a great dramatic pressure point for Jamie's character. And Sam has done such a tremendous job playing that, and that fear and that kind of like reluctance and wanting to, especially it's almost like his kids, well, not almost, it is, his kids are on opposite lines as well. And it's him. He has chosen, obviously, the side that we know is going to be successful in the future and bring about America as we know it, and obviously provide a better future for his daughter. But it's putting him in direct conflict and across enemy lines from his son, William. So it's a great character conflict to play, and Sam's done a great job with that lead up this season.
Absolutely. And Charles Van der Vaart is such a find as well. I mean, they're very similar. I mean, you can really tell that, that they could be father and son.
Yeah, well, it's funny. It's, that was so much pressure trying to find, casting, Jamie Hagan, so much pressure. And Charles, besides being the nicest person on the planet, just came in, and it's interesting. And I know no one likes Geneva, and I get it. Charles looks like a total combo of Jamie and Geneva, and I love that, has parentage there. And so Charles has been such a lovely addition to the Outlander family.
Absolutely. And, this season, it's the mid-season finale. We've left it. And once again, they're apart. They're an ocean apart. So we've got a long wait until part 2. So what's the hiatus all about?
Well, I get a lot of questions about this online, and I mean, unfortunately, this is completely out of my hands. That is more of a STARZ decision. And they obviously have their reasons for doing it. We just go in and we do what we're told. We weren't told in the beginning that there would be a break, although we imagined there would be, and we're led to believe there was probably going to be, but didn't know for sure. So we certainly kind of built it that we assumed it would be after the 8th episode. All I can say is buckle your seatbelt. It'll be the wait will be worth it. It's I hopefully the Droughtlander will go quick.
Oh yeah, Droughtlander's the killer. Like
but again, more time to rehash things. If you think about it in that light and builds the anticipation, because quite honestly, Outlander is all about anticipation. I mean, certainly it's starting in season 1, the 7 episodes it took to get Jamie and Claire, to their marriage, and, the anticipation of this season with Jamie, seeing his son William. I mean, Outlander is all about anticipation, and that's what Droughtlander is about too.
Very true, very true. And obviously with season 8 is going to be the final season. Will be, I know. It's like, obviously you guys have got a strike over in the US at the moment. Is that going to impact season 8, do you think? What's going on with that?
I think the only way it'll impact it is obviously it will be delayed like everything else. So, we've just kind of, we're on hold at the moment, and, we're in the writers room for season 8 and the prequel, and everyone's on hold. I hope it gets resolved quickly. I'd like to get back to work, as with the writers and the actors, and obviously our crew. You don't want anyone to be out of work longer than they have to. And so I hope it gets back. But it has delayed us, and hopefully that's all it is, just a delay. So hopefully we all get back soon.
It's interesting that, you must be in quite a creative state of mind for it just to be like, and especially because you're wrapping up season 8. I mean, how far are you knowing how things are going to end? Do you have that end game sort of mapped out?
I mean, we're kind of halfway through, and I know Matt Roberts, who's our showrunner, has an idea and has kind of teased out a few things he has in mind, for the end. So it's certainly been talked about. It hasn't been completely figured out yet, but hopefully that'll be figured out once we get back in the room. But it's hard. It's hard to end a series before the books end. In a perfect world, we would be able to finish all the books, but, Diana is still, I would have to imagine, a few years, 2 or 3 years off finishing the book. I've kind of lost track. I think it takes her 4 years to write a book, which even that is astonishing when you look at the size of these books. So it's hard to finish it, wrap it up. But, I think the one thing Diana has always been so amazing about is saying the books are hers, and they'll always be hers, and you'll always have the books. It's perfect in this way because, we'll have a different ending, obviously, and we'll end it where we end it. And obviously she's going to end it where she ends it. And we'll always be respectful of her and make sure she's okay with it.
Thank you so much for joining us for our mid-season finale chat about Outlander. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and head over to hellomagazine.com for more Outlander news. And please leave your comments below. We love reading them. Bye.